Hey everyone! Today we are going to make an amazing Istanbul baklava with a Turkish Kaymak filling, havij baklava. If you want to learn how to make this unique and delicious dessert, stick with me till the end of the video. I promise the result will be fantastic. Let's get started. For the Kaymak filling, we need these ingredients: milk, semolina flour. You can find this flour in all pastry shops. Butter and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. First, pour the milk into a pot. When small bubbles start to form around the edges, add the semolina flour. The milk doesn't need to come to a full boil. Keep stirring constantly until the mixture thickens and there are no lumps of flour left. Once the mixture reaches the right consistency, turn off the heat and add the vanilla and butter, stirring until the butter melts and the mixture is smooth. Our kaymak is ready. For pastry and desserts, we need to use pure butter. So to clarify the butter and remove impurities, we let it melt completely. The white layer that appears is the buttermilk. There are two ways to separate the buttermilk from the butter. First, you can put the melted butter in the freezer. The butter will freeze, but the buttermilk won't. So you can easily separate the buttermilk with a knife. The second method which I use involves stirring the melted butter. The buttermilk stays in the strainer. The brown specks you see are burnt buttermilk, which should be discarded. Now the clarified butter is ready. First, roll out the baklava dough and cut it to fit your baking dish. Then brush the bottom of the dish with a mixture of 2/3 clarified butter and 1/3 liquid oil. The bottom and top layer of your baklava should be made with whole sheets of dough. For the other layers, you can use broken pieces of dough. And if you have extra whole sheets, you can also use them for the middle layers. First, I use whole sheet of dough for the initial layer, brushing each layer with the oil mixture. Then I layer some of the broken dough sheets, brushing each layer with the oil mixture again. For the sixth layer, I used another whole sheet, brushed it with oil and sprinkled ground pistachio on top. Then I piped the kaymak filling, making sure not to get too close to the edges of the dish. Next, I placed another whole sheet of dough, brush it with oil and use broken dough sheets again. I repeated this process for a few more layers with whole sheets of dough at the beginning. Carefully and patiently, I cut the baklava with a knife. Then I bake it in a preheated oven at 180 centigrade for 25 to 30 minutes until it was golden and crispy on top. While still hot, I poured the syrup, the recipe for which I shared in previous posts, over the baklava. If you want the top to stay crispy, only pour the syrup halfway up the baklava, not covering it completely. Finally, I decorate it with pistachios. I hope you make it and enjoy it with your family. Hey there! Apricot cake is one of those must-make cakes as soon as apricot season hits. The smell of the cake with apricot marmalade filling the house is so amazing that it makes you forget all your worries. It's special and delicious. So to make it, we first need to prepare the apricot marmalade. 2 cups of apricots, half of a cup of sugar, 2 tablespoons of fresh lemon juice we need. Put the apricots in a pot and cook until they soften a bit. Mash them off with a masher. I don't use a food processor because I don't want my apricot to get too mushy. Then add the sugar to apricots, mix well, and let it cook until about 80% of the apricot water evaporates on the stove. Finally, add the lemon juice and turn off the stove after a minute. And there you have it. Our marmalade is ready. For the pastry cream, we need the following ingredients: 1 cup of milk, 2 eggs yolks, 15 grams of butter, 1.5 tablespoons of cornstarch, 50 grams of sugar, half of tablespoon of vanilla. Warm the milk in a saucepan over medium heat until it's nearly boiling, but don't let it boil. Then remove the milk from the heat. In a separate bowl, mix the egg yolks, sugar, and cornstarch with a whisk until the mixture becomes thick and pale. Gradually add the warm milk to the egg mixture, whisking quickly to combine until smooth. Then return the mixture to the saucepan and place it over low heat. Stir continuously until the mixture thickens and reaches the custard-like consistency. This won't take more than a few minutes. Once the custard has thickened, remove it from the heat and add the vanilla and butter. Stir until the mixture is smooth. It's best to transfer the custard to a container with a lid to prevent a skin from forming on top. And it's done. For the cake batter, we need the following ingredients: 3 eggs, half of cup of milk, 1.5 cups of flour, half of cup of oil, 2/3 cup of sugar, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 2/3 teaspoon of baking powder. First, mix the sugar, eggs, and vanilla on high speed with a mixer until the mixture is thick and pale. 6 minutes for this is enough. Once the mixture is thick and pale, add the milk and the oil. Mixing on low speed until everything is well combined. Do it in a minute. Next, gradually add the stiffed flour and baking powder to the mixture in several stages, folding gently with a spatula in one direction to maintain the batter's fluffiness and ensure everything is well combined. Now, grease your mold, line the bottom of the pan with apricot slices as you like, and pour half of the batter into the pan. Then pour the marmalade, followed by rest of the batter. Pipe some custard cream on top. Bake in the oven at 180 centigrade for 30 to 40 minutes. And there you have it. Our delicious, fragrant apricot cake is ready. Enjoy!